Ah, the holidays. It's that special time of year when we bundle up, pretend to be excited to hear Uncle Frank's ruminations on the time cube, and stress over how we're going to finance the ridiculous amount of presents we plan on buying. It's also the time of year TV shows create special episodes to capitalize on all the excitement. Some are better than others. This is my list of the 5 best holiday episodes of 90s cartoons. Cause why not? Look, you may not agree, but just remember that this is just one man's opinion.
Dear Santa. Dear Santa. Hello. Hello.
No.
Number 5. Pinky and the Brain, A Pinky and the Brain Christmas. This episode starts out with Pinky and the Brain doing the same thing they do every night. Try to take over the world. The majority of the episode plays out like any regular episode, albeit with some Christmas flourishes. It's a solid enough episode, but what truly sets it apart is the last few minutes when Brain reads Pinky's letter to Santa. You see, Pinky has spent the entire episode stating how important the letter is, and how he absolutely has to get it to Santa. And Brain has been calling him a child, and telling him to grow up. It's only when Brain reads the letter that we discover why Pinky was so dead set on getting it to Santa.
Dear Santa, hello, haha, narf. This year, Santa, I ask for nothing, but I wish to tell you about my dear friend, the Brain. He is honest and very hard-working, and only wants what's best for the world, but he gets no reward. He is only greeted with defeat. He never gives up, but I know it must be very hard. So please, take anything that you had for me and give it to my best friend in the whole world, the Brain. Love, Pinky. P.S. By any chance do you have in that big old bag of yours the world?
Oh man. I love those little guys.
Narf!
Number 4. Rugrats Hanukkah.
Hanukkah! You have to when you say it.
Oh. Hanukkah. That's probably more offensive. Because neither my family nor myself are Jewish, and because pretty much everybody around me celebrated Christmas, I never really got much exposure to Judaism or Hanukkah. That's why it's surprising that the Rugrats episode focusing on the holiday ended up being one of my favorites of the series. I think part of the reason I love this episode so much is because Tommy's maternal grandpa Boris talked with a Yiddish accent, and to my young, utterly sheltered mind, his accent sounded a lot like my Danish grandpa's. So I instantly felt connected to him. But I also think this episode was special because it had so much variety. You saw Tommy and company playing historical figures like Judah Maccabee.
A Maccababy's gonna do what a Maccababy's gonna do.
Then you saw Stu trying to make an over-the-top menorah, and there's also a feud between Boris and an old rival, which ends up being resolved by the end of it all. Sprinkled throughout are plenty of lessons about Jewish culture. The episode struck a perfect balance between humor, sentimentality, and education.
Ho, ho, ho! Here you go, little fella!
No, not for him.
Oh, I see.
Number 3. The Simpsons. Marge, Be Not Proud. What? I hear you saying, spittle dribbling from your enraged lips. You're using Marge, Be Not Proud instead of Simpsons roasting on an open fire? First of all, calm down. Second of all, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire first aired in 1989, and is thus disqualified from the list. Marge, Be Not Proud is admittedly pretty depressing for the majority of its runtime. The main plot revolves around Bart being caught trying to steal a video game called Bone Storm, and Marge's difficulty dealing with it when she finds out. This episode first aired back when The Simpsons still had that great balance of hilarity and heart, which defined its earlier seasons. The ending has a particularly poignant mix of humor and sentimentality, when Marge, as a gesture of forgiveness and goodwill, allows Bart to open his present early. The fact that it's Lee Carvello's putting challenge is hilarious, especially since the lead for this joke is so masterfully buried in the first act.
I want to buy a copy of Bone Storm. Here's 99 cents.
Allow me to summarize the proposed transaction. You wish to purchase Bone Storm for 99 cents. Net profit to me, negative $59. Oh, please take my $59. I don't want it. It's yours. Seeing as we are unfamiliar with sarcasm, I shall close the register at this point and state that 99 cents is the rental price.
Oh, then may I please rent it, please?
No, you may not. I am all out. Though I do have a surprising abundance of Lee Carvalho's putting challenge.
Oh.
But Bart's feigned gratitude is also very touching.
Oh, yeah! Thanks, Mom.
Number 2, Futurama, Xmas Story. Easily the most hilarious entry on the list. Not only does this episode have a myriad of classic one-liners, my favorite of which happens to be this.
Pine trees have been extinct for 800 years, Fry. Gone the way of the poodle and your primitive notions of modesty. Brisk.
It also has plenty of sight gags and a story that undermines almost all the classic Christmas stories. It even pokes fun at O. Henry's classic, The Gift of the Magi, at one point. Perhaps the most memorable of all is the 8-foot-tall Killer Santa robot voiced by John Goodman. Balancing out the humor is Fry's nostalgic pining for the Christmas of the 20th century, as well as Leela's sadness for the holiday stemming from her orphan childhood. It's easily my favorite Christmas-themed Futurama episode, and for any other show it would be considered one of the best in the entire library. But Futurama isn't any other show. There are just so many incredible episodes.
I'll be back when you least expect it. Next Xmas! Ho, ho, ho!
I miss this show.
Well, thanks for sticking with me like a true friend, Gerald. I needed a miracle, I guess. Just couldn't get one.
Hey, Arnold. You did all right, man. You tried harder than anyone else I know. All for Mr. Wynn, a guy who's alone in this country. The stuff you did is more important than a bunch of presents. It's more important than some dumb snow boots. What you did, well, that's what Christmas is all about, Arnold.
And coming in at number 1, Hey Arnold, Arnold's Christmas. Could it be anything else? In this brilliant episode, Arnold draws Mr. Wynn in his boarding house's Secret Santa. Not knowing much about him, Arnold interviews Mr. Wynn to get ideas for a present. It's then that he learns the poor man gave up his daughter, Mai, to U.S. soldiers around Christmas time to save her from the horrors of the Vietnam War. As the helicopter flew away, taking her away from her father, a single soldier yelled out the name of the city that the show is set in. I'd like to take a moment to remind you that this show was targeted towards children. Arnold then spends Christmas Eve searching for Mr. Wynn's daughter. A man working for the city's record department agrees to help if Arnold can find everything on the guy's shopping list. He manages to find everything but a pair of Nancy Spumoni boots. Heartbroken, Arnold heads home with no gift for Mr. Wynn. Just as Arnold is apologizing, the doorbell rings, and screw this show, man. Screw this show. To Arnold, it's a miracle, but the viewer saw Helga give away the Nancy Spumoni boots she got for Christmas in order to get the records employee to track down Mai. It's a beautiful episode, which delves into all the themes that represent Christmas, except Jesus. Things like caring for our fellow man, family, and selfless sacrifice. It's a perfect representation of what made Hey Arnold so darn special.
Welcome to Lee Carvalho's Putting Challenge. I am Carvalho. Now choose a club. You have chosen a 3-wood. May I suggest a putter? 3-wood. Now enter the force of your swing. I suggest feathered touch. You have entered power.